Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Droid Life Show today, episode 174. And, well, it's Friday, May 25th, and things look a little different around here. There's me, there's Tim. You can see us both. Hopefully the quality's a little bit better in video and maybe in audio too. Yeah, I know the chat's already like, what's going on? Yeah, so I'm Kellen. Tim, say hi.
Hey guys, how's it going? Tim here, as always.
So yeah, we've changed the setup a little bit, hopefully just to make a better experience. We're no longer using Hangouts. You guys know we've had some issues with Hangouts lately. Hasn't been great the last couple of shows. So
just to clarify, Kellen's had issues with Hangouts.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Well, there was something else weird last week, wasn't there? I don't know. Anyway, new setup. So welcome to the new Droid Life Show. I'm not really sure. Yeah, people are like, weird. We're seeing both of you now. Yeah, so there's no more camera flipping between. It's just me and Tim. It's both of us at the same time. So let's dive into this. Whoa, first thing, Trivia's back. New show layout. Trivia's back. So at the end of the show, for those not familiar or who have joined us live for the first time, yeah, we're doing trivia. So at the end of the show, we'll do 5 questions. We got some prizes to give away. We're actually going to give away Google Home Minis to everyone. So Google Home Mini to the 5 winners. Oh, someone just asked if there's no Trump, but I think he's still there. I think you can see his elbow.
Yeah, he's there. I can't.
He's still there.
Trump.
So anyway, yeah, Trivia's back. We'll have 5 questions at the end of the show. And yeah, we have Google Home Minis to give away to everyone. So stick around for that. In terms of topics on this week's show, we're looking at HTC U12 Plus is now official. So we went hands-on with that. We'll talk a little bit about that, when you can buy it, if you should buy it, that sort of thing. I mean, we'll have a review at some point. But we also have news around Essential that... it's kind of bad news, potentially bad news, right? If you were looking forward to a second Essential phone, we may not actually get one of those. YouTube Music is supposedly rolling out. I couldn't tell you anything about it because I still don't have access to it, but we want to talk a little bit about that. Samsung potentially jumping back into Wear OS. I still have a OnePlus 6 working on reviews of this guy. Tim still has a G7 working on review of that guy. So we just may toss out some extra thoughts if we have anything new from last week's show. Nvidia Shield with a big update. That's kind of it. So should we dive into the new U12 Plus?
Head first, dive away.
How is everything looking, by the way, everyone? It's looking fine?
Looking good.
All right.
Looking sweet.
All right, so HTC U12 Plus announced on Wednesday, and we had a chance to actually play with it a little bit, go hands-on with it, share some thoughts, but let's recap a little bit about the phone. So HTC U12 Plus, obviously HTC's first big flagship of 2018. I don't know if we'll get another one from them or not, but this is kind of like the phone for them this year. Like last year we got the U11 and then the U11 Plus later on. Now we're just going straight to U12 Plus, and it's the middle of the year. So I don't know if we'll get a new one, but this thing's fully spec'd out, 6-inch Quad HD Plus LCD, Super LCD 6, display. No notch on this thing, but it's still that 2x1 full display style. Snapdragon 845, 6 gig RAM, 64 or 128 gig storage, 3500 milliamp hour battery. Runs Android Oreo underneath HTC Sense. It'll get Android P, and I did ask them about Android P beta if they were considering that. They didn't really say that they were. So, or there may be some news later. They kind of left it up in the air a little bit. They just didn't really give me much of an answer. IP68 water and dust resistance. It's got glass everywhere. No headphone jack, but it does have boom sound, dual speakers, USB-C port. They include their Usonic USB-C earbuds in the box, and they're actually pretty good buds. Let's see what else. There are 3 colors of it. There's a translucent blue, which is kind of clear backside, which is actually really nice. There's a black version, and then there's also a red version. The red version is not coming to the US just yet. It may at some point. For now, it's not. What else? I mean, just talk about pricing. This thing starts at $799 and is available. Well, you can pre-order it right now. They haven't actually announced a release date yet, as far as I know. So you can pre-order it now. It starts at $800 though. So 64 gig is $800, and then if you want a 128 gig version, it's $850. No carriers involved at all, although it is certified for AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. No Sprint even certification, which is kind of weird because I feel like HTC's worked with Sprint in the past on a number of phones. I'm not sure why they completely left Sprint out, but AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, no carrier store availability, just unlocked through HTC site or Amazon. I think that's kind of it. What was I've actually had my hands on the phone, but like you reading it kind of from the outside, like what do you think about the U12 Plus?
Rip. I think it's a bad move, HTC, but you know, it's just another one in a long line of bad moves. You know what sucks is that I've always liked HTC, never disliked. Obviously, like as a company or their products, I like their products. You can't get them as a U.S. consumer.
No.
And obviously that's sort of a problem when you're a struggling company. And I don't know what the deal with that is. You know, if they don't want to like, you know, pay to get these things onto carriers, or carriers really are just not excited about them and they don't want them. They're like, okay, I mean, who's going to walk into a store and say, I want the HTC over the Samsung phone? You know, I don't know if that's like a social clout thing, but either way, this is another phone that no one in the US is going to buy, which means we're going to talk about it for like a week, and that's about it. So this is the week. Enjoy it while it lasts.
This is the week. And then maybe when we put a review out or something, it feels a little bit like HTC's fully just stepping away from the US, doesn't it? I know they've kind of been making this slow exit for a while. Like they haven't sold a phone at a carrier, I don't think, for a little while now. Well, they had that HTC, was it the Bolt? That was at Sprint, which is like the most random phone ever, right? That might have been one of their last carrier phones. It just seems like they're kind of exiting, right? Like the phone was announced Wednesday at 1 a.m. Pacific, so 4 a.m. Eastern. It wasn't announced really for the US. I mean, it was, right? Like you can buy it here, but it's kind of like they're catering to other countries that were like prime time hour to be announcing a phone, whereas the US was like the middle of the night, early morning. So it feels a little bit like that. I think. Well, what do we see in the last couple of months? Didn't they close their North America operations or laid most of that staff off? So, you know, they've kind of been, I don't even want to say hinting at it. They're going that direction of not really moving with the US. So $800 is a lot. If you look at all the stuff and things in this phone, it's packed with everything. The only thing is it doesn't have our wireless charging and a headphone jack. Like you could argue, it doesn't have a notch or whatever, but like that's it. Like HTC actually put everything in this phone, and at $800, it's, you know, even has an SD card slot, so it's kind of lower price than even like Pixel 2 XL, which is what it's competing with. It's cheaper than the S9 Plus, except that has wireless charging, I guess. So it's not really missing anything. So I get why it's priced like that. I just think we're so used to seeing companies that have been struggling to sell anything actually price their stuff with the competitors that are crushing them. Like you kind of wonder like why they are trying to undercut maybe. And so I don't know if it's priced well enough to sell. I mean, you can finance it, whatever. It's expensive though, right?
I think about it, you know, with regard to the OnePlus 6, right? I mean, $529 will get you one hell of a phone. And, you know, it's not lacking much more than what the HTC U12 Plus offers. The U12 Plus does have some sweet specs, no doubt about it. I mean, some
best
specs
camera
I guess
ever, DxO Mark.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Totally. I trust those guys. Yeah. So while I can appreciate the phone for what it is, and it looks awesome. That transparent backside, dude. Like I want it.
It's pretty hot.
I'm just never gonna have it.
No.
You know, I mean, it's a phone. I don't think it's really catered to the U.S. buyer, obviously, right? Because our whole system is just based on contracts and carriers and etc. And so if it's not a phone that I can just, you know, recommend to someone, and how can I recommend a phone this expensive where you can only get it through HTC and possibly their own financing program, which who knows will be along.
Amazon does have it too. You can trust Amazon.
Yeah, sure, you can trust Amazon. Is the phone going to be supported for 2 years of OS updates and software or security updates for 3 years? I mean, is HTC going to be around that long? There's a lot of questions.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you like buying a mystery phone where you don't really know what that's support's going to be like, then I guess go for it by all means. But besides it looking really hot and having some really good specs and apparently the best camera ever for a mobile phone, I mean, it's a phone that I would just say skip it. Like skip. We got the Pixel coming. I mean, just skip it. You get a OnePlus. There's just.
It's it's getting hard to make the argument for some of these other manufacturers, right? Like I get Samsung. Samsung's the biggest in the world. They put everything in a phone and sell it, at least this year, at a pretty decent price. It's everywhere. It's unlocked. It's on the carriers. You could get a Galaxy S9 in multiple sizes, multiple colors. Like it's very appealing. I totally get that. And then obviously people like us like Pixel phones because we like Google stuff and we know that's coming. And then I feel like the third player these days is kind of OnePlus because they're priced lower, but you still get a really nice experience. And it's starting to feel like LG and HTC and obviously Sony a long time ago and Motorola, like those three that we're so used to talking about, it seems like people are starting to forget about them or just not care. Like, does it kind of feel like you have the G7? You've been writing about it. Are you seeing, like, you've done videos about it? Like, have you seen a reaction to it? Like, do people seem to care? Because I get the feeling with some of the stuff, like, if you're not writing about Google's Pixel phone or Samsung's phones or the OnePlus, I feel like no one cares. Well, it's definitely not, that it's a direct reflection of what these companies are offering to the consumers, right? Mm-hmm. The G7 is, it's, I wouldn't say it's an abomination, because my feelings are overall kind of positive on the device, but God, it's boring. Like all it has even going for it is this notch, and it's like it doesn't even do anything. That's like the only thing new and refreshing about it is a notch, yeah.
Exactly, because the skin is so god awful. Like you just don't want to use it. And the camera, it's all right. I'll get into that later. Anyway, so HTC, no one cares about HTC simply because their phones are hard to come by, they're expensive, etc. You just don't see the support for them anymore in the US, so why would anyone care? Yeah. And what was the other one that what was the other company you mentioned? Yeah, Motorola. Lenovo's done terribly.
Yeah.
Motorola. Yeah, Motorola was like, it was the crown jewel of kind of like that US consumer. Like we loved the Moto X. It was like phone of the year 2 years in a row, which will probably never happen ever again.
Never, no.
Even had like the worst cameras, and we still
loved it.
Still loved it. So you can see, I mean, these are what the companies are giving us. I think we're over, say like the Moto mods. Lenovo's not treating the lineup well, and they're moving into this whole new thing with they're focusing a lot on the mid-range, which is totally fine because if that makes them money, I mean, they got to make money. So what these companies are offering to the U.S. consumers is just boring. And so people are reacting with boringness. They're just like, all right, whatever, don't care. Google's doing exciting stuff. This HTC, don't get me wrong, they remove those hardware buttons like that. That's cool. There's some cool stuff happening.
We should
but
talk about that.
Oh, we will. But I mean, for the most part, these U.S. consumers, they want the extravagance. They want that pizzazz that Samsung offers with their marketing, and Google just with the stock Android, but like these sweet tweaks and stuff, and the latest Android OS, and there's just better options out there. And OnePlus, even OnePlus with their marketing or like these guerrilla campaigns that they got, where buy a ticket to our event and blah, blah. I mean, people just love that stuff, and it's totally affordable, obtainable. Yeah. People love it. So,
yeah, I guess it's just feeling, it makes me sad a little bit. Because we've been doing this long enough where we've talked about all these companies for so long. We've seen them all be at the top at one point or another. Like HTC was king for like 2 years. Then Motorola was kind of Motorola was king with the original Droid. And then HTC was kind of king for a while. And then Samsung came up and started crushing everyone. LG had its moment. Like LG came up and it was still behind Samsung, but it had its moment. And now it feels like we're starting to forget, like, those three are just kind of moving along. Like they announced phones, and like we talked about in the last show, like LG didn't even host a big splashy press event. Like this is their new phone, the G7. They didn't have a press event. HTC didn't. And HTC's been doing this for a little while now. they've announced stuff in the middle of the night, or in Taiwan they've held some press events, but like they just don't really, like, you can't see this stuff unveiled. Like Samsung always makes sure, like, it's Samsung's day, just like Apple does, just like Google does. Like even OnePlus now is doing it, right? Where they're like, look, we're throwing a big party, come by it, come have tickets, whatever, right? We'll give you free phones. They're making big deals out of these. And so I don't know why HTC and LG, I know they're declining, but sometimes you have to spend to maybe make your way back, and I don't feel like either of them are even like trying at this point, which is kind of sad. And Motorola, like the Lenovo tie in there, feels like they're doing kind of the same thing, where I don't want to say they're giving up, but they're certainly scaled back. We heard the Moto X5 might be canceled, and I guess it's frustrating. Anyway, it's all kind of off topic, but
no, I think you're right though, that some of these companies should spend money to make money. Like you have to make an investment almost in yourself.
yeah.
And if people don't know that you got a phone and you aren't hyping it up, then yeah, no one's gonna care. So
Yeah. All right. So anyway, the HTC U12 Plus is official. Tim just mentioned how it doesn't have any mechanical buttons. This is just something to kind of point out. The volume and power button on the side, they're pressure sensitive rather than an actual mechanical clicky button. And so when I played with the phone earlier in the week, it's obvious from the beginning, and it feels kind of like that vibrate you get back on the new MacBook. The new MacBook Pros, like the touchpad, because it's like that too. It's not an actual moving piece, right? It has just a vibration motor underneath it to make you think you're clicking. So these feel the same way. Like you click them and they don't, like, it gives you kind of that sensation, but you're not actually moving a button. It's just kind of, so it kind of cool.
it's kind of dope.
Yeah. The only thing is I noticed they didn't work that great. And maybe these were like early pre-production models, so I can't totally fault this, but like you like are hammering on your volume down button a whole bunch of times in a row, how the volume just goes down. These ones, like, I sort of like it missed a couple. This is, I don't even know if I should say this, but I think I broke the power button on one of the phones I was playing with. Like it just like stuck, and I couldn't get the display to turn off or anything. And
so you
one
just
of the
put
guys,
that one back
one of the guys like that was showing it to me, like he took it back, and he didn't want to admit that it was like broken. I don't think so. He was like trying to get it to turn, and he couldn't get it to work either. So again, those were not retail units as far as I know. So I don't take what I'm saying as to be like that's going to be the future of HTC U12 Plus. But I was like, oh, these are cool, and then it stopped working. Anyway, I played with the phone for a little bit. The translucent blue, like if you're gonna buy one, you buy the blue. And they actually, this is one of those good things HTC did, where like last year they released a translucent color, I think in the U11 Plus, and I don't know if it was as easy to get a hold of as maybe the other colors. This year with the U12 Plus, they said like, no, this is our flagship color. Like this is the one we want. So that's why they're offering it in the 2 storage variants. The black one only comes in 64 gigs. So they're like going all in on the translucent blue. So, and yes, you really should get it. The phone feels really nice. Glass feels nice. As much as I hate all glass smartphones because they're fragile and they scratch, it actually feels really nice in hand. It's a pretty big phone, but it feels nice. Like the software was faster. It's HTC Sense and Blink Feed's still there and all that stuff, but it runs fast. I bet the cameras really are amazing. Like the U11 had one of the best cameras you will find in the whole smartphone industry last year, and no one knew it because no one bought it. So the cameras probably are going to be really good. HTC cares about audio as much or more than LG does. LG puts quad DACs in, but like HTC usually uses some sort of Qualcomm DAC, and they have aptX, and they've been doing audio for a long time, and they do their boom sound speakers. Like audio, like HTC really cares about audio, and I don't think they often get enough credit for that. Like it's one of those phones, like if you used it, I bet everyone would love this phone if they used this phone. But as we just talked about, I don't know who's going to go spend $800 on it. That's the thing, or $850 in order from HTC or Amazon. Like maybe people will. HTC fans will love this, of course. We know how rabid they can be. I can't wait to get a review unit in house because I'm ready to start playing with this thing. Like it's a phone like I'm kind of excited about. Well, I wrote a piece earlier in the year that was like, I'm so excited for HTC's 2018. I'm gonna regret that forever. But this phone does look really nice. Like I'm actually pretty excited to play with it. I'm gonna wrap up the OnePlus 6 so I can hopefully jump on a U12 Plus and let you guys know. But I'm not really sure what else to say about it. I didn't do any thorough testing. I just did a hands-on. But I liked what I used. But I was like everyone else, and my initial reaction to the price was, is anyone gonna buy that? So it's kind of where I sit. Richard asked, what was Super LCD screen? Was it bright enough? I don't know if it got bright enough, but the Super LCD screen on this thing looked ridiculous. Like, I'm an AMOLED guy. This phone's display, like, I noticed it right away. You know, we talk about sometimes the display getting really close to the glass where it looks like it's almost floating to the top. This might be the king of that look. Like, it was noticeable, like, instantly, that the display looked about as good as you could imagine. And then they've also figured out a way to do always on display, even though it's an LCD. So, yeah, I think the display is going to be good.
Not bad.
Yeah. Battery life, who knows, but 3,500 milliamp hour, and that's not a bad size. So,
yeah. Poor Bert's are real quick in the chat asking about the Sony phones.
Bertzer has a new show now. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently,
Sorry,
Sony has some type of availability issue with review units, and so we're kind of like we're in a holding pattern over the terminal, and running out of fuel in terms of our Sony hype, and our plane might crash land, and we may never talk about Sony again. So there you go. We're waiting.
Yeah, the Sony thing, we honestly don't know what's going on there. I mean, if you look around the rest of the tech media sphere, there's not a lot of reviews of those phones. We're not sure why Sony didn't send everyone review units, but I don't think any of us all want to spend like the $800. Well, if you want both, if you want the compact and the regular one, you're spending like $1,400 or something to review a couple of phones that I think we all are a little hesitant about. So if we don't get review units of phones, sometimes they just don't get reviewed. So poor Samsung.
We'll keep it posted, Bertzer. Don't worry.
We'll keep you posted. Keep asking though, Bertzer. Appreciate that.
Keep asking.
All right, so that's about it for the U12 Plus. Again, we don't know launch date. They didn't tell me. They just said like pre-order. You can pre-order it right now if you want. You can go to Amazon, pre-order it right now, or HTC site, and we don't know. We don't know when the thing's going to be delivered. I'd imagine just a handful of weeks, maybe mid-June. They kind of said June-ish. So, all right, let's talk about Essential, shall we? Oh, Essential.
Dude, I mean, speaking of
breaks my little heart.
So they just sent out a tweet.
Oh no.
Well, they're rolling out a new version of the Android P developer preview.
Damn.
With like connectivity improvements and fixes
sweet.
for Bluetooth and dark mode. Like, they're on it. They're doing stuff.
Sweet. And it's OTA? Is it OTA? Can you just grab that? It looks like it. It says downloading over cellular network.
Legit. Oh, Essential's not dead.
Yeah, see, this just makes me even more sad now because of that. All right, so let's talk about Essential. So yesterday, Bloomberg reported that Essential that they had canceled their second phone and that Andy Rubin and company were potentially had put the company up for sale. So they were going to sell Essential, including patents, talent, any hardware that they have or plan to sell, and walk away, not shut the company down, but see if somebody would buy it and keep it going. Just so weird. So Rubin, almost immediately after this story went live, tweets out that, we do cancel products from time to time, and we're fine doing that, is essentially what he was saying. Essentially, let's see. He said, we always have multiple products in development at the same time, and we embrace canceling some in favor of the ones we think will be bigger hits. We are putting all of our efforts towards our future game-changing products, which include mobile and home. So he didn't say, we canceled our second phone, but he pretty much said, that story that came out is true, and we think that our home hub connector thing that they want to make will be game changing. It seems like a weird thing to get behind. But Essential Phone 2 apparently gone, even though they told us like a new one was in the works. And Essential has moved talent over to working on this smart home hub. And then the information picked up an email that Rubin had sent internally right after the story broke. And, he said to his employees, like, we're not shutting down. We're just working with bankers to raise money, which could also mean we would be looking to be acquired. And then he said, leaking will not help our position in terms of optimizing. He basically says, like, don't leak. Of course, like, this is leaked. And then he said, I'm going to focus on winning, not whining. That's how he ended it.
Okay, Trump.
Yeah, I actually can't believe he said that, but that was quoted in the email. So for me, obviously, you guys know I'm a fan of Essential. I love the Essential phone, even though it was terrible. The second one was like a phone I was really, I don't feel like I'm alone in this either at this point. I think people that got on the Essential phone after the price drop, I think people like it. I think the people that own it, even though it has a garbage camera and the software performance can be a little weird. I think people that own the phone like get it. They like it. It feels nice in hand. They like using it, whatever. So I think like it has a fan base now. So the second phone, I was really looking forward to a second phone. Like we're talking about, they don't need to change much. I don't even care if they don't change the design. Just like upgrade the internals to modern and fix whatever the hell's wrong with the display and the touch latency, and then put a good camera in, and like that's all you need to do. I want the same phone. I'll take the same exact design and hardware just with updated stuff, and that's all they really need to do. I know that's probably not all they really needed to do, but so kind of bummed about this. I don't know, what are you thinking about an Essential? Like, it's surprising, right? Like that they're potentially not making another phone.
Super surprising, super disappointing. I'm right there with you. Absolutely loved the first Essential phone, but absolutely hated it at the same time. Great phone, terrible phone. It is like the weirdest anomaly in the Android world I think we've ever seen. A phone so beloved, yet so despised for the things that were wrong with it, right? Terrible camera, bad touch input, all that. So cellular connectivity.
Yeah.
The list goes on. But the hardware, I've got one just
so good.
I have one just sitting next to me as
just
a paperweight.
So you can touch it.
Just so I can touch
Great
it.
Paperweight. It's a heavy phone.
It's a heavy phone, but the ceramic, like it's basically the perfect hardware that you could ever ask for.
It really is.
It really is. But it sucks. But the phone sucks.
It's so sad.
Yeah, so that's too bad. You know, what makes it even sadder is that this company has shown that they really love their users in terms of the support, right? We're seeing freaking updates to the Android P dev preview, and that they're pushing out. Like they're doing big things.
They're updating
OTA.
the dev preview. Google hasn't updated the dev preview beta.
Exactly. They're rolling out security patches quicker than the Pixel devices get them. If these guys go away, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because they're setting the example, man. And I guess that's really doable when you absolutely have no skin, right? You're more stock Android than Google's Pixel devices at that point. But it makes me very depressed because just like you, I think if they would have just changed up a few things, improved the camera, this could have been phone of the year. You know what? Screw it. It would have been phone of the year. Like, I don't care what the next Pixel is. Like if the Essential Phone 2 was this exact phone, but had a better camera and wasn't kind of, janky. Oh man, it would have killed.
Because the hardware is that good. Yes.
The hardware is that good. And that, that was one of the reasons we loved the Moto X, right? I mean, we had that wood, that customization, and then the Moto X after that, we had the leather and everything was just nice. Like the hardware was great. But man, the jank is real. And so we were really looking forward. You just wrote up a piece like it won't take much for the Essential 2 to be phone of the year.
I did, yeah.
And so everything that you do in terms of your opinions, they pretty much jinx the company.
I just stopped writing opinion pieces. Yeah. I wrote that HTC. I couldn't wait for 2018. They lay off their U.S. operations. Essential phone of the year. We're not making one anymore. It's kind of. So if anybody wants me to ruin something, give me ideas. I'll write it up. I'm really good at this apparently now.
Yeah. Feel free to write a post about how LG skin is like the best skin ever. And then they'll just say, you know what, we're going to stock Android.
That would be a pretty good idea. That's actually a really good idea. I may have to do that finally.
Yeah. Well, April 1st is already passed, but you could have done like a serious thing. Like, no, this skin is the best, obviously.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah.
It's funny, but yeah. So
very,
right there
very
with
depressing. Very depressing. I was really looking for. I thought it was gonna be phone of the damn year. They said like we're gonna fix the camera. We know. You have to know they're gonna fix whatever the display problems were. Oh, how frustrating. Now they're going to make a home hub. And the home hub, like what they were talking about initially was you have one home hub that like works with Apple HomeKit and works with Alexa and works with Google, works with everything. It actually sounds like a great product. I don't know if they can actually do that. You know, Apple doesn't. They're not usually that open to letting people do stuff like that. So I don't know if they would allow Essential to make a single unit that uses everybody else's stuff. Google would probably be sort of open. I think Amazon's pretty open to that stuff, but so I don't know.
Do they just have like user stats, you know, numbers like that would even confirm that something like that is needed in the market, right?
Right.
So when me and my girlfriend first got together, she used an iPhone, I used Android. Obviously, I got her on Android, so now all we use is Google Assistant, right? There's no need for Siri in my house, right? So how many homes are split like that where, you know, the other person in the relationship uses an OS that is different? You know, I feel like if you're invested in one ecosystem as a family, you'll only need that one. So yeah. I don't know why there's a need for having support for multiple. And again, like you said, is Apple ever going to allow third-party hardware makers to access Siri like that and APIs? So
yeah. Someone in the chat asked, like, what's the point? Ben in the chat asked, what's the point? I think the point is that if you are the person that Tim's describing that has multiple iPhone, Android phone, like maybe you have a work phone that is Android, one's an iPhone, maybe you just have 6 people in your household, maybe you are a rental and your roommates and you all have different phones, you would have a hub that could control your home and do all of this stuff and automate things and whatever, like Home and HomePod probably will, or just Siri and then Alexa do. You can have them all in just a single unit, and you don't have to like just buy into only Google Homes or whatever. So I think it makes sense. It seems, I guess I'm with you. I don't know that it's supremely necessary, since, you know, you can just have if you have an iPhone, you can still use Google Home. So, I don't know. But anyway, they think there's obviously a big opportunity there. What I'd imagine they'll do is whatever the software they create that makes it this single unit, that's probably what they're going to assume is valuable as a company, and then they'll just sell themselves and all of that technology. That's my guess. Which is sad, because the phone could have been something special. It could have been. 150,000 units is what Bloomberg said they sold. That's not very. We all laughed early on when they supposedly only sold what was like 5,000 units. Like, I think there was a report that said they only sold like 5,000 phones, and they were like, "Shut up, people, we did not." Or maybe it was under 100,000. And then they started saying, "No, we sold 6 figures," and everyone's like, "Well, does that mean 100,000 or 800,000?" Apparently, it's 100.
Yeah, wasn't it like under 20,000 or something?
Something
super
really bad,
embarrassing, like
it was something really bad, but supposedly around 150. What I will say to that, though, is when Andy Rubin was initially talking about the phone, I don't know that he was saying like we hope to sell 5 million out the gate. He was like, look, we want to create this product he almost called it kind of a niche product, like a high end, like exclusive kind of experience. They were going to price it really high at $700. I mean, now when we look back, it's not really that high, but use premium materials that no one else is using. They created this modular system, which we haven't talked about, which is probably dead. And they were going to create this exclusive experience. They didn't sound like they needed to sell 1 million of these damn things. So 150,000, I know they had to drop the price significantly to get to 150,000 units sold. But OnePlus, remember OnePlus, they've talked about it recently since they launched the OnePlus 6. I said, look, our initial goal was to sell like, I want to say it was like 100 grand or 150,000. Or maybe it was like 50,000 phones. And then they sold like 1 million of the OnePlus One, and it just blew everything away. And now they're starting to grow into a decent sized smartphone company. But like if OnePlus's initial goal was to only sell like 50 or 100,000, you can't tell me Essential was really setting like, we're going to sell 2 million of these. Like 150,000 doesn't seem that bad. I don't know what the margins are with them dropping the price to $500, but so it just seems weird. I don't know what they're seeing. I wish they would tell us, like, look, we canceled it because we lost a shitload on, this other one, and we don't want to do it again, and there's no opportunity there. I wish they would just say it rather than this, well, we just cancel stuff all the time. No, you don't. You can't cancel your second phone and not make a big deal out of it. I don't know. Anyway, very sad.
Womp womp.
It really sucks. Like, it's one of my favorite phones. As terrible as it is, there's just something special about it, Tim.
Suck it, Android nerds.
Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah, we're losing another good one. That
you made the point. Yeah, you made the point where like software, like they're doing updates faster than Google sometimes. They're just updating P, like no one else is doing that. We're going to lose one of the only other companies that does that stuff. That sucks. All right. Anyways. Let's talk about YouTube Music. Another disappointing something or other.
What the hell is YouTube Music?
Yeah, what the hell is YouTube Music? All right, so YouTube Music soft launch. We're gonna call it a soft launch on. I think it was Tuesday. What's the?
We
day
have
today?
to, because no one knows if it even really launched.
No one knows if it even exists. YouTube Music supposedly launched after a midnight announcement the week before that no one saw. YouTube Music apparently soft launch on May 22nd, just a couple of days ago. I still don't have. I'm gonna look right now. I still don't have access to the new version. I have YouTube Music. I don't have access to the actual version that they think will be the future of music. Nope, I still don't. So YouTube Music, did we talk about this last week? So the only way to tell, I think, is if you open the app and at the bottom, you see that trending button.
Yeah.
It'll say hot list. That means you have the new one.
Oh, Jesus.
Like
that's how I tell.
That's the way I tell. Like the three buttons stay the same, but the trending changes to hot list and
hot list.
Yeah, and I think that's how you tell you have the new version. I believe. I'm not really sure.
God,
for this supposed to be the future of Google's music endeavors, this doesn't make much sense. It's a slow rollout. Not everyone got it right away. You couldn't just like sign up for it. Like I think if you're a new user and you try to open YouTube, you can't. It's still called YouTube Red. Also, it's not called YouTube Premium yet. So that's kind of confusing. They've told us this week in a number of different ways, because this is so confusing, that if you're a Google Play Music subscriber, number one, yes, you get to keep everything. You get all the new YouTube Music stuff and YouTube Premium and all that, even though you're only paying $8 a month or whatever. And then they also said, look, we're going to bring everything over to like your uploaded music and your playlists and all the stuff from Play Music you love. Well, that hasn't happened to anyone, I don't think. So that hasn't happened. I don't really know what they're doing. Like if this is really the future of your music streaming service live, like what are you doing? I feel like I know it's only been 3 days, but why did we not all just have it like day one? Why are they not slamming this and ramming this down our throat going, this is YouTube Music, you should be doing this? Why is Google Play Music not saying like the banner in it, like, hey buddy, you should check out YouTube Music. We just launched and it's huge. Like it's a weird launch. I mean, it's very Google, but it's very weird.
It's so Google. Google always kind of half, I don't want to say the A word, half butts this type of like launch, right? When it's sort of a big change.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like they're just
it.
they're like lightly stepping on it just to make sure that people don't completely freak out and lose their minds. So I don't know. Yeah. I haven't been able to play with any of the new stuff, so I don't even have like an idea of like, oh yeah, this is totally cool. Or the other issue is you and me, we go through devices. This is like a personal first world problem, but you and me go through so many devices that I'm always changing phones on my Google Play Music account. And for the G7, I tried to open it, but I had used all my things and I refused to call Google. This would be like the second time this year that I have to call them and tell them to wipe my devices.
Yeah.
Because they only let you remove 10 in a year.
Yeah.
Usually you got to call them, say, hey, blah, blah, blah. This is what I do for work.
Yeah.
And then they'll read that.
For sure.
Yeah, so I actually signed up for Spotify, and I've been using the premium for the last month. So all this news with the YouTube Music and stuff like hasn't even affected me because I haven't even been using Google Play Music.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, but as soon as my free trial is up, although they are offering 3 months of premium for 99 cents, I'll probably cop.
You should just do that. Yeah,
I'll cop. Yeah. So, but I will say, I mean, just speaking of Spotify, I'm not like the biggest fan. I kind of hate Spotify. Like I'm just not. The UI kind of sucks or something. I don't know. And anyway, back to the Google Play or the YouTube Music. Just by reading all this stuff, I couldn't be more confused as a user. And when they do things like this with YouTube, and they did it when Google Plus became like a necessity or a requirement for YouTube, they do these things wrong. YouTube and Google have a way of just messing this type of stuff up.
Yeah. So
it's not surprising that people are confused. It's not surprising that they made a big announcement of stuff, but then nothing was even ready. Like, what was the deal? So what happened is we saw that report that the YouTube Music Premium was coming and was going to replace YouTube Red, and then they announced it officially, and apparently before it was even ready. So
they must have. I wonder if somebody really was drafting the two blog posts for YouTube Premium and Music and accidentally click publish, and then they just were like, we got to go with it, because it was at midnight. It was like I don't even know, it was even more random. It was like 10 p.m. in the at night, at like the worst time you could possibly ever announce something. So I wonder if because then they were like, well, it's actually gonna be available next week, and now it's slowly. I don't know. It's a bad launch. It's a bad launch. I'm still kind of confused. Like, I'm still confused on it, to totally be honest. But again, that's because I just haven't been playing with anything. But I'm sure it'll be fine, right? Like, my price isn't changed. I'm still a grandfathered $7.99 Google Play Music user. Like, I'm not losing that, at least for the time being. My collections, my libraries are going to transfer over. So whenever this does happen, I'm not worried. I'm not freaking out. You know, I'm just going to call it something different. And to me, that's no big deal. Yeah, we'll let you guys know if we ever get it, play with it. I'm kind of like you, though, and like I switched to Spotify, and I'm glad I don't have to worry about the device limit anymore on Google Play, and it just seems like a better service.
Spotify is kind of dope in terms of having access to a lot of like the new music, right? Like as soon as a song is released, I find that it's on Spotify before it's on Google Play Music. Like that new Ghost track, like it was on there before it was on Google Play Music. So although it doesn't matter, I pre-ordered, so they just send it to me. But I mean, anyway, yeah. From what I can find, Spotify is cool. I hate the UI. The UI is like very difficult,
kind of confusing. Yeah,
and I agree with that. The app itself is kind of janky. I don't know if that's maybe just on the G7, but no, like the app is kind of janky. Like especially when I'm casting to a Google Home, like things are just kind of spotty. I don't know.
It does have desktop apps though, which Google Play Music doesn't.
It does. You're right. Ooh, desktop apps. I just use the web app. Like, I mean, who needs a desktop app?
I don't know. Me.
No, you don't.
All right, that's YouTube Music. I wish I had more to say about YouTube Music, but I don't.
Wait.
All right, let's talk about Wear OS. God, I mean, like the topics we got this week are just like, oh god,
these are the worst topics ever.
Essential going away, YouTube Music confusion, Wear OS. No one wants to talk about Wear OS. All right, Wear OS. So this news could be interesting. Samsung is apparently going to make the switch, ditch old Tizen, make the switch to Wear OS. They haven't been on Wear OS since one of the original Android Wear watches, which was the Gear Live, which was quite possibly the ugliest piece of technology ever.
No. Sorry, the LG watch, the Square, the Watch R, whatever the hell that thing was. Or no, it wasn't the Watch R because the R was round.
No, it was just the G Watch.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst looking device ever in the history. What are you talking about?
Just a plain little guy. Not offensive.
The Gear Live was cool. It had like little kind of like a chrome siding. It was dope.
I'm looking it up right now. You should just look up and see if you want to take that back.
No, I already know because I reviewed that one and you reviewed the LG one, and I think I wanted the Gear Live because I thought it looked way better.
It's not the worst thing I've ever seen out. I'm looking at it. It's pretty bad though.
They were both terrible.
They were both really ugly, yeah. All right. Anyway, so they haven't been in Android Wear OS since then. They're maybe making the change. There was an initial report from a user on Weibo. I can't remember his name. Apologies for that. But he's a Weibo user that breaks a lot of Samsung stuff, I believe, in tech. So he said, look, Samsung's going to switch. They're going to release a flagship Wear OS device type of thing this fall. And then EvLeaks tweeted out that he's hearing that Samsung employees are wearing watches that are actually running Wear OS, not Tizen. So we got two reports from two reliable sources on that. And I think it's a pretty big deal. Not necessarily because I really want Samsung to make a watch. I think it's a big deal because I think Google actually has like a big change or plan ahead for Wear OS. Unfortunately, I think that starts a lot with what Qualcomm said at Google I/O. Remember, they said, like, look, we have a new processor finally coming out this fall, and they said we're going to really focus on design because we want watches to look like watches, not smart watches. So we think we're going to get these like hybrid type of watches with touchscreens, but also mechanical hands. So I think it's going to be, well, I shouldn't say it's going to be a big deal, but I think they're going to make a really big deal out of it. It might change smartwatches a little bit and how we think of them today. And so I think Samsung possibly making that jump, I think that if they do, it kind of confirms that there's some pretty big changes coming to Wear OS. Hopefully the UI changes because Wear OS UI is garbage and doesn't really work. But the hardware is a big part of it. I mean, you want your watch to look nice and you want it to be functional, and then the smarts are always like an added bonus. So if Samsung says like, look, we're coming back, I think that means there's probably some big stuff happening with Wear OS that we just don't really know about yet, other than the new processor coming. For real.
I think you're wrong.
Can you hear that?
What?
You can't hear that? There's a
cat?
It's a leaf blower.
Oh no, I can't.
Oh, you can't? Oh, yeah, good job, microphone. All right.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, I think you're wrong. I think Wear OS could be made better. Obviously, I just don't think it's ever gonna happen. Like, I'm cool with supporting mechanical hands and all that. I think that really could be like the future,
people
right?
can hear
Because
it.
Sorry?
People can hear it.
I don't care if they can hear it.
Oh man, are we ever gonna get through a show where like something doesn't happen? And I'm sure
I don't know.
Homie's gonna be out here for a while.
Go tell Homie to stop. I don't know what you want me to do. Homie, come back in like 20 minutes, you know? I was trying to make a point.
I can just keep muting myself and coming back, but it's kind of a pain.
If you want. Up to you.
Oh man. All right, sorry. Anyways, we were talking about Wear OS.
Guys, of course I care about you. Come on in the chat. Jesus. No, so I think it could definitely be a potential game changer down the road with mechanical hands and all that, plus kind of digital notifications, very minimal stuff. But for the most, Google has had quite some time to change up Wear OS into something that's usable.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple of years and they haven't done so. So I'm not expecting some like overnight change to happen where Wear OS is like instantly attractive, right? Because they're still going to need not only the hardware manufacturers but the software makers to actually implement some cool features for it. Unless Google just wants to handle it all and dedicate the entire $1 billion HTC engineer team just to Wear OS or something. I mean, I don't know. Google's making some weird plays, and Wear OS just seems to be one of them where they should probably just stop, because there's other places to focus, especially when Apple has you so incredibly crushed. And because now they've got the health fitness kind of area just on lock, right? I mean, people are like, oh, Apple Watch saved my life. There you go. You've got all the Americans on board because everyone loves a hero story, and the Apple Watch is a hero.
I only see people wearing Apple Watches. Yeah.
Exactly. I've never seen Apple Watches and Fitbits. So if you're getting beat by Fitbits, just stop. Just quit. What's the point?
I was looking at Wear OS. The last time we got a big update was Android Wear 2.0.
Correct.
That was in 2017.
2 years ago.
Yeah. It was like it was a year and a half ago almost at this point.
Oh yeah.
And we just had Google I/O, and there goes that damn leaf blower again. I thought he was gone for a second.
That's so funny.
I'm glad you can't hear it. Everyone says like they could barely hear it, but it seems louder this time. Anyway, so Wear OS, the last big update was a year and a half ago. We just had Google I/O, and they didn't even mention, right? Like the news we got around Wear OS was they got, I think, Android P preview or a second preview or a beta. It got something which didn't really do anything, but they had to revert a bunch of changes they had made in the first preview because they realized how bad it was. And then we got the news from Qualcomm that there's a new chipset coming in. That was like it. So Google must be working on something that they just don't want to tell us. I'm not sure. It seemed like that would have been a good time to preview maybe the future. Like if this stuff's all happening this fall, and Qualcomm made it sound like, look, this fall we're going to drop a really nice high-end watch, and then all of our other players are going to follow along over the holidays. I'm just confused at why Google didn't say, look, Wear OS, there's big changes coming, and tease it or something. It seems a little weird. But hey, if Samsung's coming, could be big.
That could be big. That could change things.
Samsung makes really nice watch hardware. We talked on the last show. I'm not really a big fan of Tizen and the lack of app support there, which is a big part of Wear OS. Where that comes in is like if Samsung comes back, they have access to all the apps that are already on Wear OS. But Samsung does make nice watch hardware. Like the rotating bezel they did from right out of the gate was awesome. The Gear S3, like the Frontier, and I think it's a Classic. They're both pretty nice looking smartwatches. They're big, but pretty nice looking smartwatches.
They're not bad. I just, we had a lot of watches just basically watered down the brand and turned it into something that was just sort of cheap. And like the Huawei Watch 2, all that like that New Balance stuff, the Misfit Vapor, which was supposed to be awesome, but then it came and it wasn't awesome. You've got Fossil pumping out a new Wear OS device every other day. You can't keep track of. They're naming watches after Instagrammers. Although, I mean, technically he's a National Geographic photographer, but he's still on Instagram. Anyway, it's so watered down, whereas Apple, they've got Nike, making like special edition watches and stuff. I mean, there's like a difference going on.
See, I don't think I have a problem though with Wear OS being on everyone who wants to make a watch. Like that's what made Android great, right? It was because Android was available to everyone, and you could take it and do your own. Where I think Wear OS is a little bit different is there's one version of Wear OS. It's not like Android, you could take it and skin it and make your own thing, right? Or you could run stock if you wanted to. With Wear OS, there's one version of Wear OS. Like Google doesn't let you tweak it to make it your own and do things like you get the same every watch. So you basically like hardware wise, there's no innovation there. Like the problem with it is there's a Qualcomm chip that's old that everyone was using. And I don't know if heart rate sensors improved or whatever. Like no one's been able to actually improve anything. So you're stuck with Google's version of the OS, which is not very good as a wearable OS. And then you don't have any new technology to use. So you just have the same watch everywhere. What we need is some sort of innovation around hardware probably. And maybe Google to let people do some custom stuff with software. Like as much as I don't like, LG and Samsung skins, like maybe let Samsung take Wear OS and have all the access to all the apps and stuff and kind of do their own thing with it to make it work. Cause like Tizen on Samsung's watches, like the UI is actually not that bad, like the way it works. Whereas Wear OS is just terrible. So,
I feel you. Dog. We got Tag Heuer, we've got Mont Blanc, we've got freaking Michael Kors, we've got
Vuitton.
Louis, we got, I mean, the list goes on. Like, what the hell are we doing here? Sure, you could have everyone make a watch, but
you and I could make a watch, yeah.
It's all running the same garbage.
It's running all this
operating system.
Yeah. And the same terrible hardware internally because there's nothing new around any of that. That's like been one of the biggest problems.
For real to keep it real, I would rock the Louis watch if someone bought it for me. Man, there's no way I wouldn't wear the Louis.
I probably would too.
Hell yeah, thing is hot.
All right. Anyway, let's move out of Wear OS. Let's just anything else there. I mean, if Samsung makes a Wear OS watch,
they could save it.
I still wouldn't buy it unless we do get a new chipset and like the operating system changes. Like there's so many things wrong with Google's wearable platform, but
you're right.
All right. OnePlus 6. So as you guys know, I'm still working towards review on this guy. God, look, it's actually almost kind of fingerprintless at the moment. Look at that.
Magic.
Must just cleaned her. Still really like the phone. I know you guys have probably read a bunch of reviews about it already. But I'm like backwards in the camera. It's weird. It's a really nice phone. I don't think in my opinion has changed much since the last show. Like the value is still there. The hardware is nice. I mean, I do hate the glass back. I wish it was metal. But it looks nice and feels nice. It runs really good. Everything about it's really good. The cameras, I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's the worst. There's not much to dislike about the phone. I keep moving it the wrong way. There's not much to dislike about the phone. So like if you were thinking about it, you should probably just buy a OnePlus 6.
Just buy it.
I mean, if you were thinking about it, I wouldn't really hesitate.
Oh, well, there you go. How's the camera?
I mean, it's fine. It's not the best camera ever. It's not the worst thing ever. Its portrait mode is kind of iffy. Yeah.
No stereo speakers. No wireless charging.
Oh my God, no wireless charge. No wireless charging.
Expandable storage?
There's no expandable storage. They put all the internal storage though. I know, but it runs like clean Android, and I like that. The only thing I really want is, here's a problem right here. Where's my always on display? Where is this? So I didn't know this, but when the phone first arrives, so if anyone's got an order of a OnePlus phone coming, go in your display settings and there should be an always on display option. The problem is after you update it, because there's a day one update, it gets rid of it. So I didn't know that because when I first got it, I was like, I know they don't do always on display. I didn't bother to look. but there was actually always on display included. So it's baked in. They're just hiding it for some reason, which I don't know. Well, I don't know why. So there actually is always on display on this phone.
No one
just take it away. I want always on display. I want to just like if the phone's sitting there, I want to look and go, oh, that's what time it is. Instead, there's my Pixel 2, which has it on and it tells me. So I look at that. I don't like the double tap. I don't like the lift. You know, one of my least favorite things is I think people love is the lift to wake. Like I've seen some people say, well, I don't need always on display because I got lift to wake and I got ambient display, which like when the notification comes in, it like lights up your phone for a second. But I want something always there. Like I'm spoiled at this point, right? The Google's phones do always on display. Samsung's phones have done it forever. Even LG's do. I'm spoiled. Yeah. See what I'm saying? I want it on here. So, and the lift to wake thing, I feel like I shouldn't need to do this in order to get my phone to do something. just always be there. Damn it.
I do. I miss that.
Chat's like, I always disable it. You're crazy. It's like one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah. Brett bringing up those Moto actions or whatever. Oh, man.
The twisty
that
actions.
Was so hot.
Motorola doesn't get enough credit for some of the stuff they did in that first phone. Like Moto Display was originally called, I think, Active Display. That was the first. It wasn't always on, but it would wake up when you got notifications. And if you picked up the phone, it would do the lift to wake. They did that from the beginning, and everyone's like, oh my goodness. It was like the best feature of that phone, probably. It changed the game. Now
it really
everyone does
changed
it.
the game.
And they did the wrist twist. What's funny is Rick Osterloh, who probably, I'm pretty sure worked on his first couple of Motorola phones where they had the twisted camera. When he came to, now he's with Google, right? They added that to the Pixel, but instead of launching the camera, it just flips it to selfie mode. It's like he couldn't help himself. It must have been like the feature Rick introduced to the Moto X2 or whatever. It's like this wrist twist. We're bringing that to Google. Bringing it to Google.
He could hold the patent on it. It's totally possible.
Rick owns that single patent. He's like, it's mine.
Hey man, it's completely possible.
Twist it. Chop for flashlight. Yeah, chop for flashlight. Chop flashlight was
who's
one I
the guy
actually used quite a bit.
Chop for flashlight.
Yeah, I actually use that one quite a bit. That's a good one because the flashlight's one of those things you kind of fumble for. Although, like with this phone, you could do like no, that's not the right one. You could do a gesture. I've changed all the gestures. I think do a gesture launcher. Anyway, OnePlus 6. It's nice. You have any updated thoughts on the G7 where you pump out that review?
Oh, man. Review is coming. We do have a holiday on Monday, so expect to see the review first thing Tuesday morning. Updated thoughts? No, here's the phone just so everyone can see it. There it is.
You're still using it.
Yeah, still using it.
Look at that LG launcher on there.
No, this is Nova, baby.
I know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, the LG launcher was the first thing to go. God, that launcher sucks.
LG launcher. Yeah, no, it sucks.
The phone, it's fine. I'm ready. I'll be very ready to get off of it. Before this phone was released, I was like really excited about it. I was like, oh, dude, hell yeah, give me the notch life. But I'm just sort of over it because it doesn't add any benefit to the user experience from what I can tell.
What if you make it the multicolor gradient? At least it looks kind of cool.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't go. No, I know. It doesn't go with anything that you're looking at on your phone. Like no app is like gradient all the way through. So there's some things they could have done better. But there's also some things they could have done worse.
I just want to know where the camera's improved because I feel like for years, some of our readers tried to sell us on LG's cameras being really good. And I feel like there was a time where I was like, am I just not seeing it? Because I don't think these cameras are good. And people keep telling us like, no, LG's cameras are really good. They're really good. And like the last few phones, I don't feel like they ever get any better. Like you can tell there's that sharpness to photos that Samsung takes and Google's phones take. And I just don't really get it. Like there's something about LG's phones. Now LG builds in lots of fun features. They were one of the first to do full manual and then they did manual video controls and they've done some of that stuff. I just don't know like picture quality. Is it fine?
No. So a lot of
I was gonna say
a lot of the software stuff they build in is great. Like if you would put these controls inside of the Pixel with that sensor and like the tweaks they've made, ish would be incredible. But this It's very slow to open, right? So if I go in there, the camera opens up just fine, but then what it does, it automatically determines whether you're in a bright or low light setting. God help you if you're in a low light setting, because it turns on this this automatic bright mode, which makes everything just super slow, and so it slows down the entire experience. And this AI cam is completely worthless. I don't even understand why it's here, right? So you've got something in front of the camera. The artificial intelligence is attempting to determine what's in front of it, so it can just offer you filters. And you know what?
It says like dog, plant, tree, book,
dog, plant, tree, piece of bread. You know, like lobster.
It's the most random thing ever.
It is, and for the most part, it'll pick up just fine what it is after a few seconds, and when you're taking the picture. However, the filters that it offers are just the same filters that are already on the device. It's like it's the most pointless
it's just trying
thing
to recommend one, right? Yeah.
Exactly. You could just pull out your own filters because it's got all the filters built in. You just pull out the filters and choose whichever one you want. So it's just like it's just more complication for the sake of being AI or like machine learning. So it's whatever, man. The actual picture quality, I've noticed that it's actually, when you take a picture on just automatic with HDR on, it's not bad. So long as your subject's not moving. I've taken a lot of all the flowers are in bloom here. So I've been taking a lot of pictures of flowers and foliage and whatnot. And all that turns out great. So you'll see when I post my full review, I'm going to post a whole bunch of pictures. So just you wait to find out.
I will wait.
Other than that, I hate it.
You're just ready to move on to the next thing.
It's the software, man.
It is.
Can't use it.
All right, so one final topic, then we'll get into trivia. Nvidia Shield TV got its big update to Android 8.0 Oreo, which brought the new UI that's more like a TV guide kind of UI. Up top, you got your favorite apps, and then below that, each app, well, not each app, but the apps that support it are kind of laid out almost like a channel guide. So you can see like what you should watch on Netflix or what you've been watching or Google Play Movies or probably Hulu or whatever, HBO Now. So it shows those. I played with it on the Nexus player for a long time because it's had this for, I swear, like a year. And I didn't really like it on that. And now that I've got it on Shield, because the update did start rolling out yesterday, I think I'm fine with it. I think when I was using it on the Nexus player, none of the apps supported how it worked or anything. And Google's made some tweaks since to actually make it a little bit better. Because I was using it today again on the Shield, and I'm totally fine with it. I mean, it's totally different. It looks different, but I think it works because it gives you the apps you want. It shows you a quick view of like what you've been watching. Like my kid likes to watch kids shows. So if I go to Google Play Movies, all the stuff he's been watching, I can see it and I can just choose it. So I actually think I kind of like it. Initially, I wasn't really excited, but I actually think I kind of like it now.
So here's a couple of notions or whatever.
Yeah.
Before this update, I have the MTV app installed because YouTube TV does not have MTV, and my girlfriend likes to watch a few shows on MTV. The problem I had with how it was set up beforehand was that it would just sometimes give you thumbnails of shows that are sort of like offered within those apps, or like, here's what to watch next.
Yeah. For
like 3 weeks straight, there was a Jersey Shore thumbnail like stuck on my home that wouldn't dismiss, and it was literally just JWoww and her you-know-whats just hanging out on my big TV. So every time I turn it on, there's JWoww, which is great. I love JWoww. Who doesn't love JWoww? But like, come on, dude, let's move on.
You're like, I could have a kid in this house.
Exactly. Those things.
Your dogs are frightened.
Oh yeah. But now I actually really like what they've done with this update. You can just kind of peek into these apps essentially and see what's available. And have you noticed yet? Like, can you add YouTube TV because
to the list?
Yeah, to the channel, the guide thing.
It yet, I don't think.
Yeah, so once that's added, it'll be even better. But I like being able to see what I've been watching, say on Netflix or anything like that. So I like just being able to pop in. I mean, that's exactly what I use Android TV for, right? Just to get in, get out. So I actually really like it. I think on the Shield TV, you've even got all the gaming and stuff. Like if you don't own a Shield TV, you're doing Android TV wrong. That's just
the only
opinion.
thing is, like, are they going to do a new one soon? This thing is 2 years old, a year and a half.
Why would
old.
they? It's awesome, man. Like, there's nothing.
It still
wrong with
runs great. Don't get me wrong. It
does.
still runs really, really nice. I'm just wondering, like, when they're going to refresh it. Somebody's got to make a new one. No one's made a new good. Well, other than that JBL speaker bar, that's a sound bar that's coming out. That's about the only new high-ish end one that we've seen Android TV we've seen in a while. I think. Like, it seems like it's time for someone to make one. I mean, imagine Nvidia's margins on these things are they make like $120 off of each one probably because the components have been around for so long. They're so cheaply made.
Yeah, what is this running, like the Tegra X or whatever?
Something. I don't even know. They didn't upgrade the internals when they revamped it. They just put all the same stuff in. Then they take a port away or something, like an SD card slot. They took that away.
Oh yeah.
And like then shipped it in a plastic mold instead of that fancy metal one that the original one. Like, who knows how much money they're making on these things? They should drop them to about $99, I think.
That would be kind of nice. $149. That's fine.
Something $125 because you're right.
Sure.
Everyone should own one of these things.
Everyone should have one. I mean, you couple this with the Shield controller, and then even if you don't want to do a lot of gaming, you still have that option to like, play some sweet games. And with the changes to GeForce Now and all that, like there's a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. So it's never been a better time to get into Android TV.
All right, trivia.
Oh, baby.
Oh, man. Trivia dance. Look, we can do it together. Look at that.
Trivia
dance.
Oh, boy. I like this.
Oh, man. Trivia is back. All right, so trivia is back. If you want to refresh your stream to get that current stream, you want to drop that resolution down, that audio only. Actually, audio, well... We'll still say the questions. We're going to show you the questions on screen. Oh, it's so fancy in here. All right. So for those who aren't familiar, who are new to trivia, well, if you're listening like down the road, I'm sorry you missed it. If you're watching us live, which a number of you are right now, this is how it works. We have 5 questions. We will reward 5 winners with a prize. When we get to the end of it, we'll talk about how you will contact you and all of that stuff. Basically, we shout out a question. First to answer it correctly in the stream, you win. It's basically that simple. And so, we go off of what our screen shows who's first, because your screen may show something different depending on your internet connection and whatnot. So anyway, we say a question, you answer it. First to answer it right in the stream wins a prize. And our prizes this week just so happen to be Google Home Minis. Google Home Minis for everyone. 5 Google Home Minis to 5 different winners.
Yeah. Not the winners.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not everyone's getting 5. You're all getting 1. So
you're not all. All of our winners will receive 1.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Okay. Well, yeah, of course, but
our
small
5 winners
print,
each get a Google Home Mini. Yeah, not the however many you're watching.
For like 1,000 Google Home Minis.
Right.
Anyway. They said we all get them.
Everyone. 5 of you.
Yeah. Well, since Kellen's already gone over the rules, I guess we should just get into it real quick, though. Kellen, are you and me same page in terms of the comment section? Did Trayvon Reed just post a comment?
He sure did. He said that would be awesome. Lol.
And dang, let's do it from Ben Jacobs.
Yep. Correct. We are in sync.
We are in sync. So we're just going to start it off. Kellen, feel free to start us off with question number 1.
Question number 1.
What was the initial launch price of the original Essential phone? Oh boy, we've got a winner. I'm seeing Brett Wright with the correct answer. I mean, $699, $700. I'll take it.
Yeah. Then if you're gonna give him 700, Brett has got it.
All right, Brett Wright.
Brett Wright, the first winner of a Google Home Mini.
Congratulations, Brett Wright. Woof.
That's quick. There's like not much of a delay here at all.
No, not much at all. We've got the, we had that, we panned to the questions. Everyone liked that? Was everyone able to like read the prompt?
That happened real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, that was quick. Brett Wright, congratulations, man.
Congratulations, Brett.
All right, let's go ahead and get it with number 2, please.
Question number 2 up now.
What is the name of the OS Samsung currently uses on its smartwatches? What is the name of the OS Samsung currently uses on its smartwatches? We do have a winner. I'm seeing Todd Pavlik with the correct answer of Tizen.
Oh, man, these guys are so fast today.
Yeah. What's it? Is this whole new setup maybe just creating like it was Hangouts? It was Hangouts Jake, man.
Todd with the win. Todd with the win.
Todd Pavlik, congratulations.
Good job, Todd. Free Google Home Mini coming your way.
We
buddy.
love you, Todd. All right. Well, gosh, I guess we're just gonna keep on rolling. Question number 3, please.
Question number 3 is up.
What year was Android Auto released to the public? Again, what year was Android Auto released to the public?
I do not know the answer to this.
Jackson came in with the correct answer of 2015. Jackson Neitert? 20. Wait, what did I say? No. What did I say? Yes.
2015.
No, he had it. 2015. All right. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
He threw out a couple.
Jackson is the winner on that one.
Right.
2015.
Thank goodness. Hey, man. It's hard. Well, I mean, they spam it. It flies. Nice. Congratulations,
Ben
Jackson.
Jacobs in the chat. Every show, Ben's like, I answered that first. I love you, Ben, but every show you're like, no, I answered all these first. It's just so funny. Sorry, Ben.
Poor Ben. I'm checking. I mean, on our screen, man, you were like a split second behind. That's too bad. Womp womp. Sorry, Ben. Better luck next time, sucker.
Still got 2 questions left. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of stuff. We still got 2 Google Home Minis to give away.
Yes,
Let's
so many.
Let's do it. Let's go for question number 4, please.
Question number 4 is up.
What was HTC's first US phone with a 1080p display? Again, what was HTC's first US phone with a 1080p display? Ooh! Well, Brett Wright has already won, so we're going to have to go with Rashad Gaddis as the winner on this one with the Droid DNA.
Droid DNA. Yeah, Brett had it first, but Brett, you already won, so you can't win twice. So Rashad,
that's right
after him.
That's right.
Droid
still
DNA.
Gets brownie points.
The Droid DNA wireless charging 1080p. Oh, and I was googling stuff about the Droid DNA before the show to confirm everything. It's just it was funny to watch how everyone wrote up like, oh my god, this display so many pixels. So it was 1080. Now it's like we complain when we're like, actually 1080p is totally fine, but it was a big deal.
Sweet. Well, congratulations, Rashad. We've still got one more Google Home Mini to give away. And in order to do that, we're going to have to go with question number 5, please.
1 second. Technical difficulty.
Technical difficulty. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, ready for question number 5 now?
Absolutely. I'm ready.
Question number 5 is up.
Which OEM manufactured the Nexus 7? Again, which OEM manufactured the Nexus 7?
Brett Wright cheating out here.
Eli Kuznikov. I hope I pronounced your name right, man. Apologies if I didn't. But Eli Kuznikov?
Yeah, I mean, Brett Wright was first again, but you don't count Brett. So, yeah,
he's
Eli
getting ultimate
Kuznikov.
brownie points today.
Yeah, Eli Kuznikov.
Eli with the correct answer of Asus. They were the OEM manufacturer of the Nexus 7.
Both? Did they make both?
Yes, they did.
They did, right?
The 2012 and the 2013.
Whew, what a good little tablet that was.
That was the greatest tablet ever.
Yeah, actually, it really was.
Eli's like, finally I won. And dude, you won a good prize, man. Google Home Mini.
Yeah, Google Home
I like
Minis. That was good trivia. All the prizes. Did that go well? Did you guys like seeing the question? I know like some of you were like, no, because if I had to read, I wouldn't be able to type very fast.
Yeah, congratulations, everybody. Oh, man, you know what? I'm really bummed because we've got the new setup and we were going to be doing trivia. I wanted to like make it very special and put on like a laser light show in my office room, but I completely spaced on it. And I'm super pissed now. Anyway, doesn't matter. Sorry, everybody. Things
I was
were
ready
going to
for it to go.
I
was ready for it.
Well, I'm just going to have to start doing it now. Got to up the brightness, up the speed.
Oh, there it is. Go. I can see the colors coming. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Laser light show, baby. Turn down the Philips Hue.
That's amazing. I'm surprised at how bright it is. I didn't know those things were that bright.
Dude, it's so damn bright. I can't even see my display.
Sure. That's amazing.
So next trivia, this is what I'll be doing.
Yeah, I think we need to turn that on. I mean, I don't know if I could get any to go right here, and then we could just totally Technicolor the whole show.
So good. But yeah, so I'm partying.
Awesome. All right, so winners, if you're still in the chat, we didn't tell you this. Tim's going to put his email in the chat right now, and you're going to email Tim. So if you were one of those 5 winners, Tim's going to drop that email in the chat right now, and you email Tim.
Nope. I think you're actually going to email Kellen. Kellen's handling the prizes this week. Yeah,
you're right. You're right. It's totally wrong. I just put my email in the chat. Email me right now. Email me right now if you were a winner. My email is right there in the chat.
And Rich Ryder asking what those lights are. Those are the Nano Leaf Aura. I wrote them up. Totally awesome. They were at CES this past year. They got a new little fancy cube remote. Man, it's awesome. Nano Leaf Aurora. They're like little triangle LED panels you stick together. They're dope.
Nanoleaf makes some cool stuff. And if you don't want those, they have this other thing coming someday that's like a touch panel wall that does. Oh, it's so cool. They make some cool stuff. And they just released this little controller thing that looks like a multi-sided die. And it like you spin it and it has like a motor in it. It changes. It's so cool.
They make this haptic, you spin it on your hand.
Oh, yeah. You look at it and you're like, that thing looks really cheesy and stupid. And then you pick it up, and as you rotate it, it can change your light's colors because it does like some wireless stuff. And then, it vibrates and it's very cool.
It's good stuff.
Anyway, so yeah, those winners, if you're still here, email me right now. My email is in the chat. Sorry, we forgot that. We'd like to get you prizes. Email me. I think that's it, though. New show setup, new trivia setup.
I'm loving it. Someone was asking about NBA playoffs. Man, how about those Warriors choke masters? Oh boy, they
yes, Rashad, I got your email. Jackson got your email. Eli got your email. Brett, email me. Who is the other one besides Brett? We're missing one. Eli, Rashad, Jackson, Brett. I don't remember who number 5 was. I mean, we can go back.
Eli? Did you say Eli?
Oh, Todd. Todd got me. All right, Brett, the guy that answered 8 questions right, hasn't emailed me yet. Todd Pavley, that's who it was. All right. Got 4 viewers just waiting on Brett. Oh, there's Brett. All right, cool. There, we got all emails.
I had problems with Brett. Brett, FYI, and everyone who won, what was the prize? The Belkin Chargers, those are out. So expect to see those next week if you're here. If you were a winner of the Belkin Chargers, they will be at your place early next week. Just FYI. PSA announcement.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about the Warriors and stuff, but we're already like an hour and 20 minutes in.
Screw the Warriors.
Going to see Solo. I probably won't yet, but I will eventually, yes. Looks good.
Well, you
got
to see it at some point.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Anything else?
No, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'll catch you guys on night this weekend, or I'll see you at the movie theater checking out Solo or whatever. I mean, hey, hope everyone has a fantastic weekend.
Have a fantastic weekend. Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there. Do not drink and drive. We'll catch you next week. Peace.